Well, Henshaw here again, your friendly local constitutional coop from California, and some exciting news for you. Especially when you're dealing with evictions, and you wonder how in the hell this happened. And you're absolutely right. And you said, "Gee, what happened to the property rights I have in my real estate?" Well, what happened is that the corrupt system you're in thinks all you have is an equitable interest. And you don't even need any judicial court, let alone trial by jury, according to the courses of common law, which you'll learn you have the right to from day one, but you never see it in the just us system. To learn more, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com, and they can just come right behind you and steal your property out from under you, and just get away with it because no one knows what to do. And they didn't teach you a damn thing in the mandatory public education system now, did they? And attorneys are not only not our friends, they won't dare to bring any of the issues you're going to learn about from me because each and every one of them, beat the hell out of your corporate LLC landlords in particular. They have no claims to make even in their corrupt administrative tribunal. So and that's a lot to learn, and you will learn it. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. If you do have property rights, and with this information, you can teach your children and your posterity to avoid all this crap when they get into position later, because they're going to know, for example, if they take out a loan, that the people making the loan have to make a full disclosure of all terms and conditions of the agreement at the time it was entered into, and they never did that with you, did they? You don't have a clue, so you therefore could not have possibly made a voluntary, knowing, and intelligent waiver of any right, could you? And that's the Supreme Court saying that, not me. That's the case, I believe, with Johnson v. Zerbst. But you couldn't possibly have made any waiver of rights, and especially since these bastards these days think the relationship with government agents and us is guardian and ward, if not master and slave. When the real representation is we're in a principal and agent relationship with those who are supposed to be helping us, and helping us assert our creator endowed and alienable rights, just as planned by those racist framers back in the day when they ordained and established this Constitution, um, to establish the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, not Chase Bank, IBM, or Microsoft, or mortgage banksters, or HOAs, you name it. We have rights. You just have to know how to go in there and get them. And I believe now, with what I've recently discovered, we can take them out in their own corrupt administrative tribunal, which you'll find out looks like a judicial court, but it's nothing remotely resembling that. And once we expose the fraud there, that's big trouble for them because this current Supreme Court has been acting like an Article 3 court pretty much for the last 5 years. They haven't gone as fast as I would like, but they know as well as I do, about the 14th Amendment and sovereign independent states. And these crooks on the other side can't roll the dice now because you have the loaded ones, exactly like you're supposed to have. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com, for more information about my modestly priced constitutional defense document packets. And you'll see why I'm so excited, and I'll be 77 before the year is over. Life is still ahead of me. That's how good of a job those racist framers did back in the day. And it wasn't a perfect government, no one's saying that, but the best one ever invented. We want it back. We can go back, make changes, and do it right. Nothing hard about any of this. And I believe Trump knows it, Bondi knows it, and I know the justices of the Supreme Court know it. I'm probably the biggest expert there is on the U.S. Supreme Court. And I've arguably gotten the biggest win in the history of that court, albeit unofficially, In the case that you'll learn about, where my friend got convicted of being a meth addict, not even a crime, and gets 3 to 15 years in jail for it because he was a habitual offender. He got convicted 20 years ago of the same thing, and he got released in less than half the time of the minimum sentence because of what I think occurred in the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, I can't prove that beyond a reasonable doubt, but he's been home 11 months, and they did not do that from the governor's office. Trust me. And I've got some other big ones. My South Carolina case we'll hear more about, where I got hauled across the country after being arrested out here in a library, which is hard to do. And that took 9 months out of my life, but I ended up winning the case in 90 seconds of the arraignment. And you'll learn all about that. That's video I wish I had that they claimed they didn't make. I shut them all up 90 seconds flat. And if you know what you're doing, you can do it too. I will teach you how to go in there and assert the real issues and get it on the record. And once we do that, with their sworn duty to be bound by this Constitution and the laws enacted in pursuance thereof, they're committing acts of treason according to the Constitution and the U.S. Supreme Court. Best case is ever cited, Cohen v. Virginia, 6 Wheaton 264, 1821. Oh, that's old law. They don't use that anymore. The hell they don't. These current justices have cited Cohen several times. They know what I'm talking about here. They know we have real rights. And that's a lot of bargaining leverage. And that's another thing you're going to get here, too. Or you probably won't even have to file any claims, and certainly not a bullshit civil rights claim. Where you get lucky with that, where they don't fine you for wasting the judicial economy of the court, but you've never been in a judicial court. But what you have done is invoked another war act of the 39th Congress in order to get in there. Whether that's a civil rights statute or 28 U.S.C. 2254, habeas corpus. And that got suspended in my Midwest case I just talked about earlier by a clerk of court. And you'll learn a lot more about that. Send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com. God, it's just so good. I can't believe, and I was just put here to do this, but don't ask. I've got a divine gift. And it's a lot more than just, simple basic knowledge. I can connect a lot of dots and do it in a hurry and with attitude and with authority, and you'll learn how to do the same thing. And that's exactly what it is we want to do. So that said, send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com. Subscribe, like the videos, get your friends, to come out and watch. And if we do that, the sooner we get these bastards off our backs, the better off we're going to be. Thank you.